And welcome back to the Dark Souls playthrough. We just finished the Painted World of Ariamis and killed Priscilla, crossbred Priscilla, and we got the Xanthos set. I have no idea how to say that. And we just used a homeward bone to warp back to the first bonfire in Anor Londo. Now our next goal is going to be to go all the way through Anor Londo and take out the bosses Ornstein and Smough. I think that's how you say it. And this zone is actually really tough. Not necessarily for the sorcerer, but for melee classes who don't have any powerful spells. Some of the enemies in here can just be a pain in the butt. There's one section where there's giant archers that shoot huge bow and arrows at you that knock you off of thin ledges. That it just took me forever to be able to actually learn how to do this properly, and I think I've come up with a good strategy for it. Now, being that when we used the homeward bone, it brought us back to the first bonfire in Anor Londo, I'm going to skip forward a little bit to get to the second one because the primary gameplay is going to take place between the second and third, and then the third and the boss. Recall that we had to go through the unconventional path to cross that beam to get into this church, and then we're going across the beams at the top against the white ninja guys. You know, they kind of look like Cobra Commanders, I guess, or you know, something straight out of G.I. Joe. Regardless, once we get to the other side, we're going to raise the tower back up, and that, if you recall, the tower raises to 4 different levels. We want to go all the way to the bottom one, and that's going to be the one that brings us to the second bonfire. Now, having rested at the second bonfire, we've come back to that rotating tower and brought it to the middle level, which essentially creates a bridge between the first and third bonfires now. And as we ascend these stairs, we're going to come up to 2 of the giant these giant guys, and these are the same enemies that we ran into earlier. The problem is fighting 2 at a time if you go up there, so you have to single pull them out, and the trick again is to pull them out and bring them onto the stairs and then kite around them to the right. You want to kite around the right side again, because if you go on the left, it's easier for him to hit you with the shield. The shield can completely block all damage, so you have to hit him from behind or from the sides as well. I just love that I'm powerful enough to kill them so quickly now, especially when you shoot it right up their ass. Now, rounding this corner, we're going to come up against some gargoyles, and these guys can actually drop a weapon called the Demon Spear, which has built-in lightning damage, and it actually deals some pretty good physical damage as well. To upgrade it, you need Demon Titanites, which are spread out all over this zone. These guys because they use the Demon Spear, they're going to deal lightning damage to you. So if you don't have a shield that's going to block lightning damage, you're going to take some damage even if you have your shield up. The trick is to dodge their attacks by rolling to the left and to the right when they lunge at you, and then straight behind them again like you did the giant knights. You can also get them to fall off the edges sometimes by just standing on the stairs. Sometimes they'll just jump backwards like dumb assholes. Unfortunately, if you knock them off like that, you can't loot them. Now, there's going to be 2 more gargoyles coming up here on the left and right, and then this is the area I was talking about with the archers that shoot the giant arrows, and in certain spots around here, they can start to hit you. On this bridge, on the lower half of this bridge I'm on right now, is safe. And if you don't have ranged weapons, all you have to do is run up and swing once and then dodge their attack and back up, and you can keep doing that to take them out, or you can hope that they'll fall off, which you know, sometimes they do. If you find that you're dying a lot here, you can also just run past all the enemies I have so far and run straight to this area, because this is where the archers are going to start shooting you. And what I typically do is I run up and I stop right here so that we wait for the archers to stop shooting at us. To me, this is one of the hardest parts in the game, because forever it seemed like it was just luck, but it turns out that there's actually something easy that you can do here to win the fight. You're going to want to hold your shield up, but you don't need to sprint. Just walk up at a normal pace, and once you get up here, you're gonna go right towards that knight, and you're gonna have to roll towards him when he shoots his arrows, because if he hits you with your shield up, you'll actually get knocked back and likely fall off. So what I've found is that if you just run towards him until he goes into his melee mode, and then turn around, he'll actually chase you, and if he doesn't fall off right away, you can take him all the way back down to where you were fighting the gargoyles and have a fair fight against him. While this isn't ideal because he didn't fall all the way down, at least he's not going to knock you off the edge when you're fighting him right here. And now we're not even going to worry about the second archer, because he can't hit us from right here anyway. And if we just head up, we're going to take a right, and right around the corner is essentially the next bonfire. This took me so many tries, my first, second, and even probably third playthroughs. It's just, what a pain in the ass area. Right through this door here is the next bonfire, and actually Knight Solaire's sitting there, and you can talk to, and you're gonna want to talk to him so that he'll put his summon sign down outside of the upcoming boss. Now, as usual, I'm going to restore my humanity and kindle this bonfire to make sure that I get my 10 flasks. This is also a really good spot in the normal game when you're online. There's always summon signs here because this is kind of a tough boss, so it's a good place where people like to help each other out. It's unfortunate that I did not have internet access here, because normally the room is just filled.
Smooth summoning out there? Anytime you see my brilliantly shining signature, do not hesitate to call upon me. You've left me with quite an impression. I would relish a chance to assist you. You really are fond of chatting with me, aren't you? If I didn't know better, I'd think you had feelings for me. Oh no, dear me, pretend you didn't hear that.
Now this is what I'm going to consider the final portion of Anor Londo. And it's basically the inside of this castle, and it's filled with these large knights. Some of them have swords and shields, and some of them have spears, which you have to fight a little bit differently, but typically it's going to involve running up to him with your shield out, and then strafing around him to get backstabs and back attacks. Now, if you don't know, Sunlight Medals are the items that are used to build your reputation with the Brotherhood of Sunlight, which is the covenant that you join that allows you to basically assist other players, gain the lightning bolt, and you turn them in by the bonfire underneath the dragon way back in the Undead Parish. Now here's another one of those knights. This one has a shield, and he'll swing at you a series of 3 times, and after the 3rd swing, that's when you can start to time to try to get your backstab in. Unless you're an overpowered sorcerer, then they're really not much of a problem anyway. Through this door is actually a secret area. If you swing at this wall in the fireplace, it takes you down to a spot where you can get Havel's Armor, his weapon. Yeah, those. So if you remember, Havel was the guy that I gave up on right in the beginning of the game. He had really strong armor and hits really hard, and he gives you the ring that lets you wear lots of equipment. This is also where you'll find a mimic chest. This one here is a mimic. And he'll give you, I believe, an occult club, which is a weapon that you can use. I don't know, it's pretty much worthless. If you don't have a divine weapon, you could downgrade an occult club down to a divine club, which would let you kill the skeletons in the catacombs coming up. Now, this is touted as being some of the best gear in the game. It at least has the best defensive values, but with that comes the cost of it's extremely heavy to wear. You have to have really high endurance, and you're likely going to have to wear Havel's ring just to wear it to be able to move around. But I don't know. I don't think that it looks very cool, so I've never personally worn it. But I know that a lot of people swear by it in this game. The next couple chests are both mimics as well, and they drop I think gold coins and silver coins, which are used for nothing, as far as I know, beyond feeding to a guy named Framp that you'll meet later, that gives you a bunch of souls. I think you can get up to like 15,000 souls for feeding him these coins, which is useful, I suppose. Now there's a little bit more exploring that you could do here. The door to the right, or right behind me, there's nothing in it, but this door here has one silver knight, and he's going to guard a soul. I believe it's a soul of a proud knight or something. Worth your time to kill him to get it though. Even better, the soul of a hero. Significantly better than soul of a knight. You know, this is interesting. I said this was, I believe, the city of the giants in the lore, but I mentioned earlier that it's weird because all of the furniture is normal people sized. You know, you'll run into some of the final bosses in the game that actually live in this castle, or supposedly did live, and they're just way taller than you, so it doesn't really make much sense. This is finally the portion of the game where I actually start to have trouble with some enemies, with the basic enemies. You know, you've seen so far that I can really deal some serious damage with my spells, but it takes a lot of spells to take these guys down, so it's not always that easy. See, he just did that series of 3 sword swings there. After he does the third one, he's left vulnerable for you to get some swings in. The color combinations I have made me look like Ronald McDonald.
Whatever can be done.
Ah, you again. Let me guess. Were you repelled by the Silver Knights? Oh, don't be ashamed. 'Tis the fate of vanguards like you and I. I'll think of something. We can overcome this together.
So basically, the Giant Onion wants you to go into this room and kill these 3 Silver Knights so that he can get out of here. That's something that really bugs me with the auto-targeting. You saw that I shot the first one, and I had him targeted when I began to shoot my second spell, and halfway through the cast it just stopped targeting him for whatever reason, so it just shot it into the floor. I don't know why it does that, but it's really stupid. This is kind of a neat room. It's got some neat paintings in it. We just saw that Gwyn, Lord of Cinder, is the final boss. There's a painting of him we just passed.
Oh, what's on your mind, friend? Wait, you defeated those monsters? Fantastic. I'm saved. This Knight of Katarina hereby commends you. Take this as a token of my gratitude. But be warned, gallantry entails great risks. Next time, give me a chance to come up with a plan.
That ring is pretty much worthless. It just gives you a tiny bit of HP. It's one of the items that you can start with, and it's usually what I do start with as a thief character, because thieves automatically start with the master key, which is the item that I started with this character. So you kind of have a free slot to choose something else. Now what I do here is I just run to the end of the hallway and lure this spear knight back up here. Because where we're at right now is we're really close to the entrance to the final boss, and down there the door that this spear knight was guarding is actually a shortcut that goes almost right back to the bonfire that we're currently rested at. So if we go down there and open up this door, which is only openable from this side, we make it a lot easier to get back to the boss of this zone if we find that we're dying a lot. This knight is actually not hostile unless you go right up next to him. So in future playthroughs or if you come through the shortcut door, you don't need to worry about fighting him. And he's guarding those 2 chests which contain the Silver Knight armor, which is usually a pretty good upgrade for any melee characters that come through this far. Plus it looks pretty sweet. I'm currently wearing this on 2 of my characters, I believe, as endgame gear, just because I like the way that it looks. Now through the door that I just passed, that's actually a demon, a Titanite demon. That well, that's all that it is. So if you're farming Demon Titanite, you would want to give him a kill. Now, if we didn't kill Knight Lautrec on our when we were in the church up by the gargoyles, he actually would have ended up killing the Firelink Shrine Fire Maiden, and then he he would have dropped a black stone in that area, and if we would have been carrying that black stone in the large room we were just in, it would start glowing, and if you used the item then, you would actually invade Knight Lothrek's world, and you get a chance to fight him then so that you get his ring. It's a lot harder though because he actually has 2 other people with him. He's got a knight and a caster.
Who are you? Forge your weapons.
Now this is the next blacksmith, and he's the one that can actually take the souls from bosses to ascend them into special weapons. He's also the one that can give the lightning enchant. He also sells Twinkling Titanites and large Titanite shards. So you've got a lot of options to actually start really upgrading your gear at this point. I'm also buying the repair box, weapon box, and armor box, which lets me repair my gear as well as upgrade my gear at bonfires, and I just hadn't done that before. Also, if you roll around this guy, there's a treasure box here, and in it, I believe, is the Hawk Ring, which lets you shoot your arrows a lot further. If only for bow and arrows, of course. Now, out this door are a few gargoyles, and there's actually a door that we can open up that essentially lets us run back to the second bonfire. So this zone is just filled with lots of shortcuts. We've taken the long way around to everything. But if you find that you needed to go back to the Firelink Shrine and then come back here, it's really easy to get back once we open up this shortcut. Again, these gargoyles can be problematic if you let them hit you with their lightning spear. But then again, you can also juke them off of the side. Now there's one more shortcut that I want to open up, and I'm going to go inside here, and first I'm going to show you the location of Knight Solaire's summon sign, which we will come back and we'll use it for the boss. And then we're going to jump off a ledge and quickly sprint over to an area to open up another big shortcut that allows you to quickly run from the second bonfire all the way right up into the main boss area of this level. So there's Solaire's sign. And these large knights here will try to come up these stairs, and these ones are a lot harder than the ones that we fought before. So if we just jump off the ledge, it's going to give us plenty of time to go down and open up this shortcut. And it's just a big switch that opens up this massive door here, which goes back out to the large staircase that we came up from the second bonfire. And now that we've essentially done everything that I wanted to do in Anor Londo prior to the boss, we're going to go back to the bonfire, rest up, get our souls back, and then come back to this area through all of the shortcuts, summon Solaire, and then go in for the boss fight. So you can see after everything that we went through, the shortcuts drastically reduce the amount of time that it takes to actually get to the boss. We can run there. There's only going to be 2 enemies that we have to kill before we get to the big room. We'll also take the time to level up a little bit. At this point, I'm just leveling up vitality until I get it to about 20, and then I'll reciprocate with endurance as well. Now, again, the enemies have respawned now since we rested, but again, it's just 2 knights that we have to take out. This is something that's kind of annoying in this room. With the auto-targeting, you can see how it keeps switching to the other knight every time I go around. I'm trying to get backstab on this guy, but it's not letting me because the targeting keeps switching to the other guy. It's a really cool room with all those dragon heads in it. It's too bad you never really fight the enemies that those are from. Unless, of course, those are from the Drakes in the Valley of Drake, but I guess I'm not really sure. Now, instead of going down into the room and fighting those big knights, we're going to go all the way around the exterior, come back down and kill that archer so that we can summon Knight Solaire to help us take out the big knights before the boss. I'm trying to not use any spells right now because I want to save them all for the boss fight, so that's why I'm going straight melee with this guy. Now these guys are a lot tougher than the other large knights that we had fought because they can do some spells. They do, I believe it's Wrath of the Gods is the name of it, which is a big AoE knockback that does some damage, and they can also heal themselves. So there's the Wrath of the Gods. See Solaire throwing lightning bolts. Those are the spells that you get if you become a Sunbro. And whenever you're summoned, you actually look that golden color as well when you are helping somebody out. So here we are with the boss fight, Ornstein and Smough, and it's 2 guys. One's a really fast guy that has spears, and one's a huge fat ass with a big hammer. This encounter gave me so much trouble my first playthrough. Literally, this took me 6 hours because back then you didn't have the humanity dropping from bosses, so I couldn't summon people to help me, and I couldn't even summon Solaire to help me, so I had to kite both of these guys around the room. If you get in the situation where you need to take on both of them, basically you need to have them both come at you, and then kite around the room backwards around the exterior perimeter of the room with the pillars, fighting just one of them. You don't want to fight both of them because once one of them dies, the other one takes their power, gets all of their health back, and then becomes even stronger. The one that you kill first is going to determine what items drop at the end. Basically, if I'm killing this skinny guy right now, I'm going to get the soul of Smough, which is the big fat guy, which allows me to build his hammer. if I kill Smough first, I'm going to kill Ornstein last, which allows me to get his soul, and then I can build Ornstein's spear. As a sorcerer, this fight, again, has been trivial. It's usually a lot harder. Or maybe I'm good. I have no idea. I have lots of practice with these two fuckers. Now, Smough has the same moveset that he would have had in the earlier fight, except now he has one new move where he'll jump in the air and fall to the ground and deal a big area of effect lightning attack that does a lot of damage. So if you see him jump in the air straight up, you need to run the hell away. I'm pretty sure that when he's about to do that, lots of lightning starts coming out of him. You need to just roll straight backwards from him. Yeah, right there. And that'll deal a lot of damage to you if you don't get out of there. I think that Smough is a lot easier to fight in the second half because he has really easy moves to dodge because he's really slow in comparison to Ornstein, who's just extremely fast, and Ornstein hits way harder too. And there we go. It wasn't that difficult to fight for me. I got the soul of Smough, which I'm not going to use, so I'll just consume it right for his souls. We get a humanity and the sunlight medal because a Sunbro was with us. And that's that. After this, we go after the Dark Sun Gwendolyn and see Big Boobs McGee. Stick around for that.